Your dog is staring at a blank wall, motionless, ears fixed on something you cannot hear. You look at the same corner, nothing. You call their name, but they do not move. And in that moment, you tell yourself they are just being strange again. But what if the room is not empty? What if your dog is not reacting to nothing, but to something your senses were never built to detect? Humans see the surface of the world. Dogs live inside the details beneath it. They hear what we miss. They smell what we hide. They notice movement before it becomes visible to us. So today we are looking at 9 strange things your dog can see, hear, or sense that you probably cannot. And the last one may explain why your dog sometimes seems to know something before you do. 1. Colors you have been told they cannot see. For decades, the popular belief was that dogs see in black and white. It was wrong. Dogs are dichromats. They have 2 types of color-sensing cells in their eyes, compared to the 3 humans have. This means they do not see the full spectrum we do, but they see color. Specifically, they see the world in shades of blue and yellow. What they cannot see clearly is red. To your dog, a red ball on green grass is almost invisible. The ball disappears into the background. But here is the part that surprises most people. Dogs can see ultraviolet light. Research into canine visual perception, including work led by vision scientist Jay Neitz at the University of Washington, has shown that dogs have photoreceptors sensitive to wavelengths that fall entirely outside human perception. The UV range, invisible to us, is a visible part of your dog's world. What does this mean in practice? Certain flowers, certain animals, certain surfaces that appear plain and uniform to you carry patterns, marks, and information in the UV spectrum that your dog can read. They may be staring at something on the wall that, to their eyes, is glowing. 2. Sounds from electronics you cannot hear. Your television is off. The house is quiet. Your dog is staring at the screen. To you, there is silence. To your dog, there is noise. The human ear hears sounds up to roughly 20,000 hertz. A dog's hearing extends to around 65,000 hertz, well into the ultrasonic range. This means your dog can hear the high-frequency hum of electronics, the whine of a computer monitor in standby mode, the sound of LED lights flickering at frequencies your ears cannot register. They can also hear sounds from much greater distances than you can and pinpoint the source of a sound with their movable ears in a way that a fixed human ear cannot replicate. When your dog is alert and staring at something silent, consider that silent is a human category. Your dog may be listening to a frequency that has simply never existed within your perceptual range. 3. The early signals of a storm, long before you feel them. You had no idea the storm was coming. Your dog did. The pacing, the restlessness, the refusal to settle. This often begins hours before the first cloud appears. Dogs can detect the drop in barometric pressure that precedes a storm. They can hear the infrasonic rumble of distant thunder, low-frequency sound waves that travel far ahead of the storm itself and sit entirely below the threshold of human hearing. They can smell the shift in the air, the rise in humidity, the specific electrical signature that builds before lightning. By the time you notice the sky changing, your dog has been processing the incoming weather for hours. Their anxiety is not irrational. It is an accurate response to real information they received long before you did. 4. The magnetic field of the Earth. This one is the strangest, and it is real. A study published in the journal Frontiers in Zoology, conducted across a large number of dogs and breeds over an extended period, found that dogs showed a measurable preference for aligning their body along the Earth's north-south magnetic axis during certain behaviors, and that this preference disappeared during periods of magnetic field instability. This means dogs have some form of magnetoreception. They are sensitive, in a way that science is still working to fully understand, to geomagnetic fields. The same forces that guide migratory birds across continents appear to register in some form in the canine nervous system. What your dog experiences when they detect this, whether it is a sensation, a directional pull, something they are consciously aware of or simply respond to, we do not know. But it is there, and you cannot feel it at all. 5. The sound of your return, before you reach the street. You think you are being quiet. You parked around the corner. You have not opened the door. Your dog already knows. Dogs can hear sounds at distances 4 times greater than humans. The specific frequency of your car engine, the particular rhythm of your footsteps on a surface 2 streets away, the sound of your key in a pocket before it reaches the lock. Their hearing is not just more sensitive in terms of frequency, it is more sensitive in terms of range. They are receiving acoustic information about the world around them from a much wider radius than you are, and they are processing it with ears that can move independently to triangulate the source. When your dog runs to the door before you arrive, it is not a 6th sense. It is the 5th one, working far beyond your capacity. 6. Chemical changes in your body when your emotions shift. You have not said anything. You are sitting still. You feel nothing unusual from the outside, but your dog has moved closer. Emotional states produce measurable chemical changes in the human body. Fear triggers adrenaline. Stress elevates cortisol. Grief, anxiety, excitement, each shifts your body chemistry in ways that are imperceptible to other humans, but detectable to a nose that contains up to 300 million olfactory receptors compared to your 6 million. Your dog does not read your face first. They read the air around you. When they respond to how you feel before you have expressed it to anyone, before you have even fully identified it yourself, they are responding to real, physical, chemical information that your body is broadcasting without your knowledge. 7. The specific scent of illness. This goes further than emotional chemistry. Trained dogs have been documented detecting early-stage cancers, diabetic episodes, and oncoming epileptic seizures through scent alone. The biological changes associated with these conditions alter the chemical signature of a person's breath, skin, and urine in ways far too subtle for human detection, but within the range of what a dog's olfactory system can distinguish. Research conducted by teams including scientists at the Penn Vet Working Dog Center has demonstrated detection accuracy rates in cancer scent trials that rival or exceed some clinical screening methods. Your dog does not understand what cancer is, but their nose can find the molecular signature of it, and some owners have reported their dog becoming fixated on a specific part of their body, licking, sniffing, returning to the same spot, only to discover a medical condition at that location later. They are not psychic. They are just working with a sensory instrument you do not have. 8. Ultrasonic sounds from animals and insects. The garden is quiet. Your dog is fixated on a hedge. Mice, rats, and certain insects communicate and move using frequencies in the ultrasonic range. Sounds that are entirely above human hearing, but well within your dog's detection range. What appears to you as a completely still, completely silent hedge may be, to your dog, a busy acoustic environment full of movement and information. This is why dogs sometimes track things you cannot see, dig at spots that appear empty, or stand completely rigid while apparently staring at nothing. They are hunting with their ears in a frequency range you have never had access to. 9. The specific visual movement of very fast things. Dogs process visual information faster than humans do. Their flicker fusion rate, the speed at which they process individual frames of moving visual information, is higher than ours. This means they can distinguish motion that appears as a blur to human eyes. It is also why the old standard television appeared as a flickering strobe to dogs. Modern screens with higher refresh rates are better, but to a dog, the visual world still moves slightly differently, with a precision of motion that we simply cannot resolve. When your dog snaps at something invisible in the air, they may be reacting to a flying insect moving too fast for your eyes to catch. When they track something across the room and you see nothing, the nothing was moving. Your dog is not living in a simpler version of the world you inhabit. They are living in a version that is broader, more detailed, and tuned to frequencies, forces, and chemical signals that are entirely outside your experience. Every time they seem to react to nothing, it is worth asking what nothing actually means. Because from where they are standing, the answer might be very different from yours. Every video on this channel begins the same way, with a question most dog owners have never stopped to ask. And then we go looking for the real answer. Not the simplified version, not the comfortable assumption, the actual science, the studies, the behavioral research that takes years to surface and rarely reaches people in a way that feels like a real conversation. That is what we do here, every single time. If this video gave you something, a new way of seeing your dog, or a moment that made you stop and think, then do one thing before you leave. Hit like. Drop a comment telling us which of the 9 surprised you most, and subscribe so you do not miss what we are putting out next. Because the more you understand your dog, the better life gets for both of you. And that is always worth showing up for.